Middledon is here, ready for vengeance. We start off with the usual lineup of Zwei Sinclair and LCB Mersault for 20% damage reduction, alongside LCB Gregor for healing per turn, and LCB Heathcliff for extra 10% damage buff. Middle Little Sister Dawn was an ID that I was extremely excited about. From her visual design to her abilities, I was in awe that Project Moon actually added a unit that looks designed for content with lower amount of sinners. And then the numbers dropped, and I was truly upset. The ID ended up being just gimmickless ID that hits strong. In itself, it is not a bad thing. Sometimes it's fun to just get a heavy hitter that works in many teams and you can just stick it on and have fun. But I just wish it wasn't hyped and teased as an ID with interesting and cool gimmick. Her skill 1 is a 2-coin blunt wrath attack that heals some SP and inflicts bleed. Her skill 2 is a 2-coin blunt envy attack that inflicts some bleed and does less damage than her normal counter. Her skill 3 is a 4-coin blunt pride attack that inflicts bleed. And her counter, which is the most notable skill, should have had its gimmick at 4 envy resonance instead of 6. But on its own, it is 2-coin blunt envy counter attack that can become an envy version of skill 3 if you really try to make it work against the unit itself, since you need 6 absolute envy resonance. And I know, I sound negative and I truly do not want to be. I love Middle Dawn as an ID, and I love her going colon 3. But at the same time, I feel like it has been a design that sadly failed at delivery of what has been teased. Her gimmick of offense level growing with less than X amount of sinners present in your party is completely ruined and neglected by that X amount being 7. Spoiler alert. Throughout the whole Canto 5, there hasn't been a single battle where that gimmick can be not active. Which means the whole game, it's just active all the time. There is no focused encounter in the game where we can actually not have it active. So it's a lot of fluff text, and in all seriousness, I don't even like the idea of having encounters with more than 7. I feel like the more sinners we have, the less team building there is, but hey, this solo guy, am I right? But that's enough complaining. She still takes over as my favorite Dawn up to date. So let's go through what actually happens so far in the dungeon. At first floor we managed to get 5% drop of Gathering Skulls, and given it only affects our pierce damage, which we don't really have, it's useless. We also got a nice event node with Bloody Gadget for 20% damage increase, and with that we got the boss nodes that rewarded us with coffee and cranes, making our La Sangre de Sancho ego basically cost 1 fried resource only. In the first shop we got Late Bloomer's Tattoo, which will go absolutely crazy with our skill 3, giving us additional 8 defense and offense level each. With that we recruited Gambling Duo of Think Tank Home Glue and LCB Rodia for 40% more damage on head rolls, as well as old reliable G-Corp Otis for her random buffs. Throughout floor 2 we found an event with Crown of Roses, basically increasing our damage per turn by 4, and were instantly greeted by Marvin with his 4 sloshing bodyguards. Generally an obnoxious fight to deal with, given that sloshing enemies are always up front and makes killing Marvin way more difficult than it is. But since our counter is as strong, if not stronger than skill 2, we can prioritize on staggering his bland weak talisman ass, and take the fight easy from that point onward, since, unlike him, we resist blunt damage. Also keep in mind we really have no healing outside of chip healing from both LCB Gregor and La Sangre de Sancho. So after defeating Marvin, we chose Pendant of Nostalgia for some poise, and instantly make sure to heal Dawn at the rest station. With that, we started off with an event node, giving us Red Order that will be immensely helpful, with its effect that does absolutely nothing for us. After a couple of blunt nodes that we punch into another game, we sacrifice some blood for Voracious Hammer, which is not too bad, given that it's still early enough into the run for it to be worth it. And we enter Floor 3 boss fight. Yet again proceeding Inquisitors led by everything there of an Inquisitor. But for once we are using a Sinner that is not innately weak to last attacks, so we can take some hits even from their strong attacks. Just make sure that their eerie slashes are contested and clashed. Middle Dawn is weak to slash, so even though they don't roll too high, they're still threatening damage-wise. Thankfully, once we got enough action coins few turns in, we can rely on using La Sangre de Sancho to not only heal, but have its passive active, which is extremely powerful for Middle Dawn. For Uninformed, it heals 3 health every time we attack a bleeding enemy, and since all of her attacks inflict bleeding, we can heal between 3 to 12 health per attack we use. There is no cap per turn, it's forever active, and it's great for keeping us healthy. We managed to clear the battle relatively fast, within 5 turns, making sure it's impossible to activate our special counter. And yes, I am still salty about it. Our boss reward was Disc Fragment, making our La Sangre de Sancho basically a free ego. In the shop, we high roll a skill swap for Dawn, giving ourselves a second skill free, and boost our ego resource generation even more with Child Within a Flask. Over Nebulizer. Yeah, guys, don't judge me. Past me was clearly cooking something with that choice, as I recruited the final Sinner to my party in form of Base Ishi for conditional Clash power boost. With that, Floor 4 opened up with a Pekatula fight, and I really have nothing to say about it. We do get Headless Portrait, which yet again, extremely useful for absolutely nothing we do. Except of Fluid Sac, we have a bit more access to now. Immediately after that, we get Hydra event node granting us painkillers, which truly made me relax a little bit, knowing that KQE and Chromer cannot hurt us anymore at all, since forced stagger mechanics give us way more survivability now. Then we had one more event node before the boss fight, which gave us Wound Clerid. And given that everything we do is bleed related, it substantially increases our damage by 3 each coin. With that, we move to our Floor 4 boss, Fairy Longlegs. Some of you might be surprised that there is no talisman doll if you've seen my community post. And to that I say, my first run did have it. However, I messed up audio in that recording, so we have Fairy Bro instead. But the fight itself goes very easily, we are enduring last attacks after all, and since he does no slashing attacks, we never take full damage from him. Additionally, between using La Sangre de Sancho Awakening and passive, we get to recover a lot of health in spite of not having any healing ego gift. As the fight goes on, I want to say thank you all for watching, and I hope you do enjoy my content. If you do, please leave a like, comment and subscribe. We have reached 2k subscribers, which means a lot to me. to be able to manage a goal I thought impossible before the end of the year. So I have to set up another impossible goal of 3,000 subs before year of 2024. You guys are awesome, and I hope you all enjoy watching the streams that I do each week on Thursday and Friday. But now, let's get back to Fairy Longlegs. As we even get to use the funny counter, guys. It's epic and cool and crazy and awesome and poggers. And with that, Fairy Longlegs is gone, floor 5 is open, and we are rewarded with extremely late golden urn. The shop has Thrill that we sadly cannot afford, so we grab Homeward instead, just to ensure we go in healthy enough for the final boss. With the remaining cost, we grab Kurokumo Ryoshu for some extra bleed application and move onward through floor 5, which opens with an event node with a Redditor that is not special and gives us Illusory Hunt. 20% extra damage at the final boss sounds great. With next 5 being absolutely decimated, we get another 5% chance Ego Gift in form of Barbed Snare. Right after that part, we have a string of events and a single Pekatula fight right before the final battle, as we get Pinpoint Logic Circuit for some flat damage per turn in form of Burn, Nixite Divergence for Tremor application, as well as completely useless Portable Battery from Pekatula fight. We get to the final shop of the run. And since there is nothing really interesting for us, I exchanged LCB Ishii for Reindeer Ishii to give us extra 10% damage and healed Abdon. With that out of the way, the run comes to a close, so I hope that you enjoy.
그래, 전부의 쪽지를 주면 되겠군. 본인도 이번에 한몫했으니 작은 형님께서 흡족해 하시겠어.